Basketball took center stage last night with high-scoring performances across the board, as multiple teams and players delivered electrifying moments. Alabama set a new NCAA tournament record, draining 25 three-pointers in a single game. Duke's Cooper Flag continued to show why he's one of the most dominant players in the country, dropping 30 points to propel the Blue Devils forward. Florida secured a victory, while Texas Tech mounted an incredible 16-point comeback against Arkansas, forcing overtime and ultimately punching their ticket to the Elite Eight. In their respective regions, Alabama, Duke, Florida, and Texas Tech now stand just one win away from the Final Four. Opening day in Major League Baseball brought plenty of fireworks, with Shohei Ohtani launching his first home run as a Dodger, helping Los Angeles start the season 3-0. The Baltimore Orioles crushed 6 home runs, including one from Tyler O'Neill, who extended his record streak to 6 consecutive opening days with a home run. The Yankees kicked off their campaign in historic fashion as catcher Austin Wells became the first backstop in MLB history to lead off a game with a home run. Across the league, baseball's return was nothing short of spectacular, setting the stage for what promises to be an exciting season. Meanwhile, the drama wasn't just on a hardwood or the diamond. The NBA delivered yet another stunning finish. The Chicago Bulls, trailing by 5 points with just 12.6 seconds remaining, pulled off an improbable comeback against the Los Angeles Lakers, capped off by Josh Giddey's half-court heave at the buzzer to secure a 119-117 victory. It was a gut-wrenching loss for the Lakers, who have now dropped for their last 5 games of time when momentum heading into the postseason is crucial. Shifting to the NFL, Pittsburgh Steelers veteran defensive lineman Cam Heyward made headlines with comments regarding Aaron Rodgers, seemingly throwing down the gauntlet when it came to the quarterback's lingering indecision. However, in an appearance on Good Morning Football, Heyward backpedaled on his initial statement, attempting to clarify his stance. "It was misconstrued," he said. "I was asked if I'd go the lengths of a darkness retreat to recruit Aaron Rodgers, and I said I'm not doing that. The pitch is, if you want to be a Steeler, be a Steeler. That's all it was. It wasn't meant to be against Aaron, or say that I didn't want him. I think it'd be really cool to have a guy like that, but I can't be the one to get over the finish line. That's up to him." That's quite the shift in tone from his initial comments, which have been interpreted as a challenge to Rodgers, an invitation to commit to Pittsburgh or move on. And let's be real, this wasn't something taken out of context. Heyward initially made it clear that Pittsburgh had no time to waste in its search for a quarterback and that Rodgers needed to make a decision. Now, after some time to reflect, he's walking it back, perhaps realizing that Rodgers may indeed still be an option for the Steelers. But the question remains, why the sudden shift? Nothing has fundamentally changed about the Steelers' quarterback situation. The team's desperation for a viable option under center remains as glaring as ever. And Rodgers? He's still undecided. Adam Schefter shed more light on the ongoing saga during Get Up, explaining just how little clarity the Steelers have on Rodgers' intentions. "Pittsburgh knows what it's like to be Aaron Rodgers right now. Because they're in the dark," Schefter said. "There are a lot of people around the league who wonder if Rodgers is even going to play. We haven't heard from him. And for weeks now, despite Pittsburgh's clear interest, they haven't gotten any clarity from him. They met with him for 6 hours last Friday, discussing what it would be like to work together, yet still no answer. Some people believe he may not play at all. Others think he's waiting to see if something opens up in Minnesota with the Vikings. But right now, no one knows. And therein lies the problem for the Steelers. A franchise that has long been revered for its stability and no-nonsense approach now finds itself in a position of weakness, waiting on the whims of a quarterback who, by all indications, is in no rush to make a decision. It's a stark contrast to the franchise's storied history, a team that once embodied toughness and decisiveness now left in limbo. The organization's recent struggles to secure a franchise quarterback post-Ben Roethlisberger have only magnified this issue. The Steelers haven't won a playoff game since 2016, and while Mike Tomlin has impressively kept his streak of non-losing seasons intact, it's clear that their inability to secure a true successor at quarterback has held them back. Even as March Madness and opening day dominate headlines, the dysfunction surrounding the Steelers remains an ongoing storyline. It's a situation that feels uncharacteristic for an organization that has always prided itself on having a plan. But right now, there is no plan. They made a play for Matthew Stafford and failed. They explored the possibility of Justin Fields, but he opted to return to New York. They had discussions with Russell Wilson, only to see him sign with the Giants. And they've been engaged with Aaron Rodgers, but he remains non-committal. And if Rodgers ultimately doesn't choose Pittsburgh, where do the Steelers turn? The reality is they'll be forced to look toward the NFL draft, where at best, they'll have the opportunity to select the third-best quarterback in the draft class, where only two signal callers are viewed as top-tier prospects. That's a dangerous place to be in a league where quarterback play defines success. The Steelers are at a crossroads, and a lack of urgency from their front office is raising legitimate concerns. Unlike other franchises that have aggressively moved up in the draft to secure a quarterback, Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes, Baltimore with Lamar Jackson, Buffalo with Josh Allen, the Steelers have remained passive. Last year, they sat at number 20 while teams like Denver, Minnesota, and even the Jets made aggressive moves. They had an opportunity to trade up for J.J. McCarthy or Bo Nix, but they didn't. And now, a year later, they're left with uncertainty once again. At some point, the Steelers will need to make a move, whether for Rodgers or another quarterback. But the longer they wait, the more it feels like they're simply treading water, hoping for a solution rather than actively pursuing one. And that is not the Pittsburgh Steelers way.